Well, what's up, everybody? ShonnyDman here, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Talk with ShonnyDman. Hope you guys are doing great. And if you're watching on YouTube or podcast, be sure to one, go watch this on YouTube because the videos are really good too, and give a like and a follow. So, we're gonna deviate a little bit in this episode on a little bit of nerd talk. We got my good friend Megan here, and she says hello. Um, and so Megan is a good friend of mine. We grew up in the same town. We've known each other for years, and so I thought this would be an interesting experience for listeners or those who are watching the video on YouTube. She uh she spent about, what was it,
10
8 months?
months.
8 months?
10 months.
10 months. 10 months. She spent 10 months in India with her husband, and not recently got back. You got back in
February.
February. I can't believe it's been that long since you've been back.
Yeah. Been
And
back
so,
for a while.
oh yeah, took her a while to readjust, but she is back. So she spent about 10 months in India with her husband. So Megan, for those who are listening or watching, give us a quick kind of recap of how you and Jobish met. Jobish is the name of her husband. So give us a quick recap of how y'all met.
Okay. Quick recap. I don't know how to do that. So we basically met through a mutual friend. We both have a friend that's from Pakistan. She and I both worked at the mall, and one day there was an international student bonfire that was going on, but she and I both had to work that day. So what we did is we were planning to take turns to go to this bonfire, but I didn't know how to get there. So she knew a guy that could show me and my other friend how to get there, and it was Jobish. And so we met him at the mall, and we like awkwardly introduced ourselves, and then he went with us and showed us how to get to the bonfire. And on the way there, I was playing like Indian music on my phone and like Go and stuff from like Slumdog Millionaire. And and so I thought he was cool after that, and I added him on Facebook. And then the next day or so, he messaged me and he was like, "Hey, dude." And I was like, "Hey, I'm not a dude, but hey." And I was about to graduate high school, and there was another like welcome dinner coming up. And I asked him if he was going, and he said no. And I said, "Okay, well, I'm going." And when I show up there, I actually go with Sean. Actually, yeah, I rode with you, Sean, there to this welcome dinner. So
You're
you play
welcome.
a part in this, Sean.
I play a
Part
part in
in
everything. What are you talking about?
this. Yeah. So Sean, actually, I went with him there, and Jobish was actually there. So I sat with him, and we like kind of hung out the entire time while we were there. Still no feelings really or anything, just casual friendship, whatever. But the next morning, I was planning on going to Panama City Beach for senior week. Um, and so the entire time I was there, I was secretly messaging Jobish, and we kind of slowly started to develop feelings over the phone. And one day he was like, "Tell me the American definition of love." And I said, I don't know what I said, but good definition. I don't know what I said. But he said, "So what about me?" And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Yes or no?" And I was like, "I don't know. I really like the guy, but is it too soon to say I love you?" But I didn't want to like chase him off, you know?
Right,
So
right.
I was like, "Yes." And then he said, "Okay, I'll let you know how I feel when you come back." And I was like, "Okay, that's not fair, but okay." Um, so I went back to the dorm where he was living. It was really awkward. Went up to his dorm room, and we were just nervously talking, awkwardly sitting there, blah blah blah. He goes back to his kitchen area, and then he comes back with like roses, and he gets down on his knee and he says, "I really do love you." And I was like, "I love you too." And we hugged, and then I left. And so
Okay. Okay.
I had I had plans to meet Jessica actually right after
Oh,
that.
okay.
Just a mutual friend,
Yeah.
Sean and I's friend, on an eyes. Anyways, so I met her after that. But yeah, he and I were basically dating since then. He didn't even ask me out. We were just like, "I love you," and that was it. Like we
It's
didn't
just
be
yeah.
like,
It just started off right then and there. So
yeah. So that was 2014, and we got married in 2017, and we've been married for 5 years now. So
yeah.
see, I don't know how to do it. I can't do that in a short way. I'm sorry.
It worked out fine. It was good enough. It gave the listeners really in depth about your life, Megan. So yeah, so Megan because we both, Jobish was a international student at our local community college, and at the time I was attending it. I don't think you were just yet. I think you were. No. I think you were out of high school at this point.
I
2014.
um yeah, I started college in 2014.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you
Yeah.
were. So yeah, you were there. Um, and so we all went to our local community college. I was a part of the Baptist campus ministry there at our community college, which we worked alongside with the international department. So we got to hang out with international students and do things with them, which is one of the reasons why I invited Megan, or probably mentioned it to you about this bonfire or any kind of international activity. Because I would invite her and our mutual friend Jessica before me and Jessica became the best friends that we are now. Um, but so let's talk about, so we skip forward a little bit, a couple of years. Let's talk about you going to India. What First question is, how much of a cultural shock, I guess that's the word I want to use, cultural shock, was it from going from the United States to India, like when you first arrived?
Um well, one thing that okay, we went there like peak COVID. My cat's falling. Peak COVID time, hardcore COVID time. Like had to fly with like face shields, and he had to wear like a full body like suit thing to protect him because he was in the middle seat. So when I went there, it was like very closed, um, like we thought we were strict here, but they were very strict. Everything was shut down. Like we couldn't even get off of our property. I couldn't even like step out of my driveway onto the street. Like so that was something to adjust to, not necessarily just culturally, but just I guess sort of culturally, like during COVID.
Right.
Um, so the first 2-3 months I was there, it was pretty much lockdown 80% of the time. But once I started to get out and travel and such, um, people were staring at me a lot, which I expected. um, were staring at me, and like even when you look at them, they don't break their stare. Like they just, they just like doesn't matter. Like you can just stare right back at them, and you'll
You're a
just be like
celebrity,
having a
Megan.
yeah. Um, and like kids were curious about me, and it was really cute, and they would ask me where I'm from and stuff like that. Um, I wouldn't really say that I had much of a shock because we were married for like 5 years
Mm-hmm.
nearly before. So you know, I had plenty of time to learn about the culture, what to expect before I even went there. Um, but the only thing was maybe the staring, which it didn't bother me. I thought it was hilarious. Like I actually loved the attention. Like I
Oh my
loved
God.
being I loved being the foreigner and stuff like that. But on the negative side of cultural difference is like everything is so unorganized. Like even when you're trying to do something serious with like documentation or something like that, it takes forever and it's not just organized like it is here. It's
Mm.
like it's like whatever like type
Just
thing.
just
And
just throw it in the back and we'll get to it.
oh, oh, and one of the things that irked me the most was the driving. The way people drove, they don't look. Like if they're about to pull out onto a main street, they
Mm.
literally don't look. In their mind, they think it's the other person's responsibility to just not hit them when they pull out. Like
Oh my
they
gosh.
they
Oh my
just oh
gosh.
crazy. Oh
So
my god. So that was
that sounds
yeah.
pretty crazy. Um, so what about the food? Tell us about the food.
Oh my gosh. The food. So we ate rice like every freaking day for at least lunch and dinner. It's like this, it's not like what you think of Indian rice. You normally think of like basmati rice, which is
Mm.
like thin grain. This is like a short, fat grain rice. So we had that, and we had like the same 3 to 5 different curries and side dishes to go along with our rice like every day. So I got burnt out really, really quick on um so and in the mornings I liked breakfast food better. So like they had something called dosa, which was really good. So we would do like dosa with tenga chanmandi, which is like coconut chutney,
Mm.
basically. Really good. I love that. There was another thing called puri with like urula kuranga, which is how they say potato in Malayalam. Um, so those were my two favorite things to eat while I was there. But yeah, after about like 7 months of being there, I got to the point where I was like refusing to eat. Like
Oh
it's
my
just like so done, like
god.
so and the fact that we were in a village, I didn't have access to many things. Like if
Right.
I wanted for myself, I kind of couldn't most of the time. Like something that I wanted, like we would have to drive 5 hours to the bigger city to get groceries for me. And the only things that I could find to cook that were slightly American were like spaghetti ingredients. Like I
Really?
was able to
Oh.
ground beef. I couldn't even get ground beef unless I drove to that 5 hours away city. So like yeah, ground beef sauce, etc. Otherwise, I was eating like I don't know, like Maggie noodles. I don't know if you know Maggie noodles.
I don't.
It's like Indian ramen noodles basically. So I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
so
Okay.
you know,
Yeah,
that's one of the
it-
adjusting to the.
oh yeah, one of the funniest videos that you posted. So Megan, during her 10 months in India, she uploaded a series of YouTube videos. So she has a YouTube channel that you can
Yeah.
go and watch all her videos. I will have that the link to her channel in the description of the YouTube video and in the description of the podcast episode as well. So you guys can go check out her entire thing. I think you did it like almost every day. You did a video.
Oh no.
Oh, uh,
uh,
it seemed like
I was
every day.
I was trying to do it like once a week, but then it ended up being like once every 2 weeks.
Okay, well, so you guys can go and watch her videos of her adventure in India as well. Um, one of the one of the funniest videos that you posted. Well, there's two. One actually, I think I just think of the main one. She in one of her videos, her Jobish and his sister were they went into the city and they were going grocery shopping. And you were asking this guy, I think it was about maybe onions or potatoes or something. You're asking this guy like how much this was, and he kind of ignored you and went and talked to like Jobish's sister. And you're like, you got like so offended about it because you were like, did he just ignore me?
Yeah. Yeah, that was so annoying because like and that's another thing back to the culture is like sometimes they like men will not like they'll kind of ignore women like not not 100% on purpose, but it's
Mm,
just like they're more focused on the men
right.
said something or whatever. And I guess also because I was a foreigner, like he just automatically like in the back.
Yeah, you're not worth my time. So,
I don't know. I was offended. I was like, "Are you serious? Like, I know you hurt me."
what was what was your what was your number one favorite memory that happened while you were there?
Shoot. Oh, dang. You should have sent me these questions.
Nope. You know, she. By the way, she was like judging me, telling me I better do my job and ask her good questions when we were discussing this the other night. I was like, I felt really insulted about it.
Okay. My favorite memory, like favorite thing that happened. Okay. Well, one thing that I really like will never forget is we lived very close to the border of their neighboring state called Tamil Nadu, and it's basically like a drop off. It's kind of funny, like the way it was positioned, like the border, you just like it drops off the mountain, and at the bottom of the mountain is like the other state, basically.
Huh.
So, like, it was just from our state, we could see like just this huge like landscape. It was just so beautiful and like huge mountains on both sides, and like you could see all the farmland and stuff like that. And even as you're walking to this viewpoint, like people are just like walking their cows and goats, and there's like windmills like in the background. It was like the most beautiful scenic thing like I have ever seen. Like I felt like I was in heaven. Like it was just very beautiful. And they actually do call his state, they call it God's own country because it is like just so beautiful there. So that is one of my favorite moments, like being able to see the beauty of that place. My cat is causing chaos.
I've I've noticed. Um, Jovish comes back pretty soon, doesn't he? Isn't it October? I think
uh,
is when
November.
November. Okay. Well, you just
I
got
mean,
so it's still a little bit of ways away. Um, so what was so what was a what was your worst experience the 10 months you were there?
ooh, dang. Um, okay, well, this is gonna get sad though. It's gonna be sad.
Really?
Gonna turn deep and sad. So, like,
Have you told me this story?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
it's sad. Um, why am I laughing? Okay, so 2 months after I got there, I found out that my stepfather passed away.
uh,
That was like really hard, and the fact that I was so far away, I couldn't be here for the funeral or anything like that. It was very very difficult for me. He was like I he was just a really good role model and a really good father role in my life. So that was hard. Few other sad things that happened. Um, I had gotten a total of 4 kittens while I was in India. None of them made it past like
oh,
I don't know 7 weeks. I don't know what it was. Like I got this first 2 pairs of kittens and they were doing fine. Like they were just gonna get dropped off somewhere. So basically, like we kind of like saved them, or so we thought we were doing. Um, so, anyways, yeah, they went outside for like a couple of days because I wanted to let them go outside. That's totally fine. But after they went outside, like 2 days later, they were both like just sick, like bad sick, and then
mm.
they would. So we lost them. A few weeks later, I get 2 more kittens. I was like, let's try this again. And same freaking thing happened. I don't know what they got into outside. I have no idea. I can't figure it out. We took them to vets. The vets are retarded there. Okay, I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say the R word. Sorry. Apologies. Vets, not smart.
Okay, there you go.
They, God, that was another thing that made me so mad is like, here, I know they would have survived. Like, I know that people, they would have gave them like an IV that would have had fluids running through them because they were severely dehydrated. This guy was like refusing to like give my kitten an IV, and his wife was there while he wasn't one day, and she was laughing because I was crying that my kitten was
What the
dying.
heck? It's
So that
crazy.
because they were like denying to help the cat. They were saying they couldn't, and like I know they could.
Mm.
I was like, okay, it just hit me like my cat's gonna die. So I was crying about it. And she was laughing at me. And I was like, what's wrong with you, lady?
What? That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't
That
know.
is
So
it. Yeah.
I had,
That's interesting. I can
yeah,
see why. Yeah, that's a very deep, sad story. Just Megan,
sorry.
that's not for the faint of heart.
But
So,
yeah,
gosh,
situation. Yes.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to. I know in one of the one of the videos that you posted, you and Joe Bish. I think it was just you and Joe Bish. Y'all were walking in the city. Probably the one that you mentioned that's about 5 hours away, and there were just like these two women yelling at each other, or somebody was yelling at each other.
Yeah. That was, yeah. That was in a different city, but this city was maybe, I think it was like 3 hours, maybe three and a half. That was in that other state that I was talking about,
Oh,
Tamil Nadu.
okay.
We were in a city called Madurai, and it's known for a very, very famous temple. It's called the Meenakshi Temple there. It's very popular. So we were going there to see that. And another thing about Tamil Nadu culture versus Kerala culture, which is where I was staying, it's just it's like a 180. As soon as you get over to that state, it's just like it's what you see on TV for like
Mm.
India. It's very busy, very crowded, a little chaotic. But in Kerala, it's calm and not like that is so much. But there, it's like you're in India for real. So yeah, it was just like those ladies were yelling across at each other. I don't know what they're. I can't speak that language. I don't know because they're a different language than my husband's place.
Right.
That's another idea. Like each state basically speaks a different language. Um, so yeah, so they were arguing or whatever, but we went there to see the temple. That was a chaotic trip. Um, yeah, we couldn't find parking. First mistake. Never try to drive your car to the Meenakshi temple and park somewhere because it is impossible. We drove around for, I swear, an hour just going around like various blocks in that location trying to find parking. And like another thing is like Tamil Nadu village people and Kerala village people don't like each other. so,
Oh.
so like my husband doesn't like going there without a friend or two. So like
Uh.
in him, he felt kind of unsafe. So we had gone down this dead end road thinking we were going to find a parking spot, not knowing that it was dead end. We get stuck. Like we can't, there's so many cars, we cannot like maneuver to back up and like get out. So my husband was peak freaking out. Like he was about to tear up. Like he was just so stressed. So like I'm okay, let me try or let me get out of the car to navigate you. Cause we were like, I've never seen someone maneuver a car. It was like just a hairline where we were like having to not hit somebody's car. So thank God some other people from his place were there and they noticed that we were like having trouble. So they got out and they helped and we finally like people were angry at us. Like the other people, they were
Uh.
yelling at out the way and I don't know what they're saying. It was crazy. It was chaotic. We were both panicking. It was a little scary. It was tense. But we finally got. By the time we got out of that situation, we neither of us even felt like trying to go inside the temple. We
No,
just walked, looked
you
on,
were just done after that.
and we just left. I think we found like a Domino's or something, and we had Domino's. That was my treat. When we go far away and they have a Domino's, I'm like, yeah. But yeah, it wasn't. It's different. Indian Domino's it's different. Like they don't have pork pepperoni. I had chicken pepperoni, but
I mean, it still probably still tastes about the same anyway. So I think it'd be all right.
yeah,
That's like a very terrible day.
yeah, it was a terrible day. So it was okay.
Um, so what was it? So what was it like spending 10 months and then coming back? How did that work? How did that process to go? Because I remember Jessica was going to pick you up, and she had a terrible time of trying to locate you because I don't think she's ever picked anybody up from the airport before, and so she's like calling and texting me while I'm at work. She's like, "Do I go here? Do I go here?" I said, "Jessica, oh my gosh, if I knew you were gonna get lost, I would have just took off work and came with you." And so, what was that like? Linking back, meeting with Jessica, and then being back home for a couple of days.
Yeah, I was worried about her, coming by herself because I had figured she had never like picked up someone from the airport, and the Atlanta airport can be pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Um, but she said it was fine. I was like, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really thankful that she picked me up. When I got there, I think I could tell she was stressed because like I was like, "You're home!" Like so happy, but she was like standing in the back, like way far in the back. I was like, and she was just like, I was like, "Hey," it was not like running through a field at a
Oh,
reunion.
it's not like the movies.
No. So
Gosh, hot
uh,
mess.
yeah, I was so exhausted. Like I fell asleep in her car on the way back. Yeah, so basically, yeah, it was weird having like reverse culture shock,
Mm-hmm.
like coming from like a very social culture. Like people come to your house every day there and like hang out and just it's not like here. It's like how it used to be here, maybe like 40, 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
back when people were social. Um, so I got used to that social culture, and I got used to the chaotic driving and the roads and the food kind of. I got really used to that culture, and then I come back here and like the roads are so empty and everything's organized and people are driving normal, and it was really weird for me to sit on the other side of the car because like our passenger seat is their driver's seat.
Right.
Felt so weird like sitting on that side of the car. I was like, I feel like I should drive. uh, so that was really weird. But I enjoyed the stress-free like driving experience or riding experience. Um, I was so excited to eat food. Like, oh my gosh, I was dying for American food. Like that was my first thing. I was like, I have to eat a steak. We went to Applebee's and like on the way home, and I got me a steak.
Oh my god.
Steak, but whatever. So, uh, and then I drove maybe like 1 week after coming here, and I have a YouTube video about that as well. That was a very strange experience driving on the opposite side for the first time because I was driving in India a lot. I had an international driver's license. So it was especially backing up out of my driveway, just that initial point, like
Mm-hmm.
it was so confusing from sitting on the other side and trying to back up and like figure out like the measurement. It was so weird, like pulling forward and backing up multiple times because I'm like so disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start getting on the road and I literally don't remember which side of the road I'm supposed to be on. Like I was so like flipped and confused. I was like driving. I was in my neighborhood. I did drive on the wrong side of the road for like probably like 40 feet or so.
Oh.
Then I was like, oh wait.
Oncoming traffic, gotta get the way.
So
You're probably just yelling at those people. I'm right, you're wrong.
yeah, it's like that Family Guy episode with that the Asian lady. She's like, "Good luck, everybody else." And she's
Oh
like,
yeah, that's exactly how it is. I'm sure in India.
yeah.
Um, real quick, because y'all went, because one of the reasons y'all went to India was for his sister's wedding. How was that?
So the original plan was to make it for his sister's wedding, but his sister's wedding was like in the end of March,
Mm.
and we couldn't like immediately get like my
Oh
visa
yeah, that's right.
and all that in time for that. So we actually had to wait until the beginning of May. So we missed the wedding, unfortunately. But it was funny. Like not long after we got there, we went to like a photo booth or like photography off. What do they call it? Anyways, they
I don't
of it
know.
photoshopped us into the wedding
Oh my
album.
gosh, really? I did not know that.
They like put me and Jobish on like each side of them. Like we were just posing, but we were actually in that like I can't think of the word. The photography place, whatever. Because like I'm white, like, and they used flash, and I was just like paper
Oh,
white.
oh my God.
But I was like paper white standing next to them, and it was just it's so funny. But they did pretty good Photoshop. Yeah,
That's good. That's good.
pretty funny.
Good, good, good.
Uh,
um,
uh, real reason why we went there, since we couldn't make the wedding, is he had to go there regardless because he has this 2-year agreement on his visa,
mhm.
say stay in India for 2 years. So we had been like, dragging that out, not wanting to do it, but we have to because he hasn't even been able to start the green card process or anything like that since we've been married for 5 years. So he has to stay there for 2 years, no matter what. So he'll finish his 2 years in November, and once he comes back, hopefully we'll start on the process of him, doing his PR, getting a green card, and then eventually citizenship. So yeah, that was why we.
So hopefully that'll all work out. Well, all right, guys, that is it for this episode. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment below. Like I said, I will post Megan's YouTube channel in the description below so you guys can go check out her wacky Indian adventures. For those listening on podcast, I will also do the same. Be sure to go give her a follow and enjoy her videos. They're very entertaining. Um, but other than that, you guys know the drill. Hit that like and subscribe button, comment below, and we will see you guys later.